History is filled with bizarre and shocking events. But have you ever heard of a trial where the defendant was a literal corpse? This isn't a scene from a horror movie. It actually happened in the Vatican in the year 897 AD. This is the unbelievable story of the Cadaver Synod, or as it's more gruesomely known, the corpse trial. So, let's set the scene. It's the late 9th century, and the political climate in Rome is, to put it mildly, a total mess. Different powerful families are all vying for control of the papacy, and popes are coming and going faster than you can say amen. Our story revolves around two key figures, Pope Formosus and his successor, Pope Stephen VI. Formosus had a pretty controversial career. Before becoming pope, he was excommunicated, then reinstated, and he made some powerful enemies along the way. When he eventually became pope, he made political moves that angered a very influential family in Rome, the Spoletos. After Formosus died in 896, he was succeeded by a couple of short-lived popes, and then came Stephen VI, who was a puppet of that same Spoleto family. This is where things get truly strange. Stephen VI, likely under pressure from his patrons, decided that simply being dead wasn't enough punishment for Formosus. He needed to be publicly humiliated and have his legacy erased. So, he ordered Formosus's body, which had already been buried for about 9 months, to be exhumed. Can you imagine the scene? The decaying corpse of the former pope was dragged from its tomb, dressed in full papal vestments, and propped up on a throne in the Basilica of St. John Lateran. The trial then began. Pope Stephen VI acted as the prosecutor, screaming accusations at the silent, decomposing body of his predecessor. They even appointed a deacon to stand beside the corpse and speak for the deceased, answering the charges on his behalf. It was a macabre spectacle, a grotesque piece of political theater. The charges against Formosus were mainly related to canonical law, things like being a bishop of 2 places at once and supposedly perjuring himself. Unsurprisingly, the verdict was guilty. The court declared all of Formosus's acts and ordinations as pope null and void. As punishment, the 3 fingers on his right hand, the ones used for blessings, were chopped off. His papal robes were stripped from his body, and he was dressed in layman's clothes. But the humiliation didn't end there. After the mutilation, Formosus's body was dragged through the streets of Rome and thrown into the Tiber River. It was the ultimate act of desecration. However, the story takes another twist. The Roman public was horrified by this bizarre and sacrilegious event. Public opinion turned swiftly against Stephen VI. A few months later, a massive public uprising led to his imprisonment, and he was eventually strangled to death in his cell. Later, the body of Formosus was reportedly recovered from the river by a monk and given a proper burial once again. A subsequent pope, Theodore II, annulled the entire corpse synod, reinstated Formosus's acts, and declared that from then on, no one could put a dead person on trial. It's a rule that, thankfully, has largely been followed ever since. The corpse synod remains one of history's most bizarre and chilling episodes, a stark reminder of how power, politics, and personal vendettas can lead to the most surreal and horrifying outcomes. It's a moment when the highest office in the Western Church descended into a macabre farce. Thanks for watching. If you found this dive into weird history fascinating, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more strange tales from the past. See you in the next video.